Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Welcome. I have a few announcements and then we'll get started with our speaker for today. Welcome to our Friends Over 50 program. Remember, this is every Thursday from 10:30 to noon, and every week is a different topic, so please share with your friends and invite others to join us. I want to remind you also that every Saturday from 12 to 3, we have our community health days. This is in the social services building. You enter the side entrance and you can get free health checks, including blood pressure screening, sugar screening. You can talk with the doctor and get referred to a primary care provider, whether you have insurance or not. So share that news as well, and please stop by and see us for our community health days. Also, next week on September 29th, which is also a Saturday, the Adams Center out in Loudoun is having a health fair, a one-day health fair with more extensive screenings than we offer. It's from 9 to 3 that day, and they're having vision and hearing tests and more tests than we offer at our community health days. So if you need more information about that, you can see us or ask in the social services office. I also want to ask for your help again in recruiting drivers. We know that our seniors have a challenge with transportation. We're in the process of starting a volunteer driving program. We have some great volunteers already, but we need more before we can get started. So if you know any men or women who are willing to volunteer, please put them in touch with me or send them to the social services office. Also, our computer class is starting in less than 2 weeks now. So people are registering for that class, but you still have time to register. This is a computer skills class for anyone who wants to know more about using the computer, Microsoft Office programs, if you need help writing your resume, learning how to interview, general work skills, or just social skills on the computer. This is a great class for you, and I can give you information about that as well. In addition, this is something new. There's a Virginia organization that works with people who are deaf and hard of hearing, and they are trying to make a special outreach to non-English speaking communities. So they are leading a series of focus groups, and they would like to lead a focus group or small discussion with an Arabic speaking group who is either hard of hearing or has a family member or friend who is hard of hearing, so they're affected by this. We need 6 participants to get this focus group together. We're trying to get it together for next week by the end of the month. I realize it's short notice. The only requirement is that you are hard of hearing or you know someone who is hard of hearing. You have a family member or friend who is hard of hearing. You will fill out a 2-page questionnaire. It will be translated to Arabic, and you'll participate in a 1-hour discussion. Anyone who participates will receive a $40 gift card just as a thank you for participating, and there's no cost to you. So if you know anyone that struggles with their hearing or has a family member who struggles, please let me know about that. I've left today's presentation on the table there along with an evaluation. Yes? No, they don't have to be approved from a doctor. There's a spectrum of hearing loss beginning with very mild, where maybe you just struggle to hear in conversation, to profound, where you can't hear without a hearing aid or cochlear implant. So anyone who struggles with hearing on that spectrum can join, and they don't need a note from a doctor or any specific diagnosis. Yeah, good question. Thanks for asking. So as you know, we ask you every week to fill out an evaluation for us because we want to know what topics you would like to hear about and what changes we can make to improve the program for you. We want to continue to make it better. Today, I'm also going to ask you to fill out a survey that I've left on the table there for our guest, who is from AARP, the American Association of Retired Persons. Additionally, if I'm going to send this sign-in sheet around, if you would like to be on an email list for AARP, you can sign your first and last name, zip code, and email. You must have an email to get this electronic email from AARP with different resources from them. They will not sell or share your information. This is only for you to sign up if you'd like more information from the organization. I also want to share with you that there is an expo for anyone age 50 plus, Sunday, September 30th from noon to 4 at the Springfield Town Center. It will include health screenings, entertainment, flu shots, etc., etc. So I have a flyer here. There are flyers on the table up here. That's Sunday, September 30th, noon to 4, Springfield Town Center. AARP is going to have a resource table there as well. And that's for anyone age 50 plus. With regard to flu shots, I want you to know that on October 6th, we are planning on offering free flu shots at our Community Health Day. I'm finalizing those details now, and we'll get that information to you, and I'll tell you more about that next Thursday. But if you haven't had a flu shot, you can mark on your calendar that you can get one here at Al-Hijrah on October 6th, in most cases for no cost to you. Okay. Next week, our speaker will be the director from Culmore Clinic, our neighbor Culmore Clinic. This is a free clinic for anyone who is uninsured and living in Fairfax County. They've been a great partner to us, and we refer a lot of folks from our health days to Culmore Clinic. They can be a primary care provider for you if you live in Fairfax County and you do not have insurance. So they're going to come and talk more about what they do and how to connect with those resources. Also, and this is very important, please listen to this. In the state of Virginia, they are expanding Medicaid coverage. Medicaid coverage is expanding in the state of Virginia. Currently, there are 3 MCO, managed care organizations, that manage Medicaid care in the state. Each one manages a different region. Under the expansion, there will be 6, and all 6 will manage the entire state. You may receive a letter from them telling you that you are assigned to one of these 6 MCOs. If you are already a part of an MCO, Anthem, for example, or United Healthcare, and you want to keep your doctor and stay with that MCO, you must call the number on the letter and notify them that you want to stay. You can stay, but you have to notify them. I know that's a lot of information. Next week, Julio Martinez from United Healthcare is coming to give an update about this in more detail, and he can take your questions and give you even more specifics about it. But just be aware that this is coming up very quickly by October 1st. You may see this letter, and it does require action. Okay? Today, our subject is brain health. Brain health. How do we keep our mind sharp as we age? I'm very interested in this. Our speaker is Suba Sati. He's a volunteer with AARP. Suba is originally from India and migrated to the U.S. in 1968. He's a retired Air Force lieutenant colonel and also a retired from the retired Civilian Department of Defense employee. His passion is to travel and hike national parks. He's traveled to all 50 states and 30 countries and counting. And he's hiked 54 out of the 60 U.S. national parks. Yes. So join me in welcoming Suba. And I'll just turn the mic over to him.
Hear me? Okay, good. My wife says I have a mouth big enough that I don't need this, but I'm going to do this anyway, because she always says I speak too loudly at home, so she's always going, shh. I don't know if you have husbands like that at home, but that's what she does to me, shh. And I'm like, oh, okay. But thank you for having me this morning. It's a pleasure for me to be here. Last week, I don't know how many of you have heard the Medicare presentation by my fellow presenter, Ridge. But this is about brain health. You know, no matter what culture we're from, we all have a brain. And thing was, when people got older, they were told, you're getting old. You need to relax. You need to sit in a rocking chair. You've done your time. Well, to that I go, it's not a word, I go, because it's not true. So I'm going to read you something, and this is actually from a doctor. brains of older people are slow because they know so much. People do not decline mentally with age. It just takes them longer to recall facts because they have so much information in their brains, scientists believe. It is like a computer, right? Because when you're young, you're learning and you're soaking in information like a computer. But as you get older, I have more information in my brain. So, much like a computer struggles, as the hard drive gets full, so too do humans take longer to access information when their brains are full. So whenever somebody says to you, you're having a senior moment, you tell them, no, my brain is just full. It just takes a little bit longer for me to remember that. So I think this is wonderful. So let's get started. We're going to cover the 5 pillars of brain health. What I'm going to cover with you is just common sense information. But unfortunately, people don't follow common sense in all specters of life. So let me get started. Okay, so we just started this presentation about 1.5 years ago. So we want to let you know that I'm not a doctor. I don't tell anybody I'm a doctor. I just give this brain health presentation. So anytime you need to check professionally, please go to your doctor. I'm just giving you basic information, so just wanted to let you know that. So, good news. This is the best part of the presentation. Regardless of our age, we can reduce the chance of age-related diseases and optimize our chance of maintaining cognitive health. And what we're going to do in this presentation today, I'm going to ask some questions, hopefully you have some input, and we'll make this sort of like a fun thing. Okay, so the 5 pillars of brain health. Discover, that should be in your handout that I gave you. Connect, move, nourish, relax. Discover, connect, move, nourish, relax. And we're going to go through each pillar. So why is brain health so important to all of us? Well, people are living longer. If you look at statistics from 30, 40 years ago, people lived less or died at an earlier age. Now people are living longer. People are working longer. How many of you still work here? Anybody working? Good for you. I retired, but I'm engaged so much in volunteering, and I also teach tennis. So that's the way I keep my life fulfilled. My wife went from full-time to part-time. So as long as you're busy doing something, but people are working longer. I met a gentleman at a McDonald's. I just was talking to him, and I said, excuse me, sir, if you don't mind my asking, how old are you? He said, I'm 82 years old. I said, do you have to work here? He said, no. I want to work here. And the young manager came and said, I hope he never leaves because he's an example to my younger employees. He shows up at time, he's always dressed well. And then the older gentleman said, yeah, but I told him what hours I want to work. So that's one demand people can make, but they're great people and they can continue to work. Number 3, healthcare costs. The more you stay healthy, the less you have to spend going to a doctor or not saying you should not go to a doctor. Everybody should go to a doctor once a year, but you're not going to be in a hospital if you try to take care of yourself. And of course, there's always brain research going on that tells you, hey, these are the things that we can keep you around longer. Okay, so what you should find on your feet is a survey, of course a pen. Everybody should have a pen. And the only reason we ask for the survey is if you wanted to fill it out, is just you fill it out and then you give us your evaluation on what could be done better. We're actually trying to even find Arabic speakers. So if you know of anyone who wants to volunteer in ARP and is good as a good presenter, I am actually the facilitator of the Speakers Bureau for Northern Virginia. so I can help that person as long as they know, of course, Arabic and English. Okay, so there's the first pillar, discover. What's discover? When I travel, I discover. When I travel, I discover. My wife and I discover new things. That's discovery. I can learn about it in a book, but when I go to a new country and actually I'm there with the culture and the food and the people, wow, there's nothing like it. It is just amazing for me. Exercise your brain with different puzzles, things like that. New interests like learning how to play the guitar, that's on my list because I'm terrible at it. Stay curious. Remember your child when he says, "Why is the sky blue?" And you say something and he goes, "Why?" I know I used to drive my mom crazy. I would keep on asking questions. And she'd finally say, "Please, I'm tired. I'll explain more to you tomorrow." But I was curious. And I'm glad, and you can stay curious the rest of your life, okay? And challenge your thinking. You can read, you can go to the library, pick up a book, those ways. So, another way, take or teach a class. I do an English conversation class at the Lorton Library. And funny moment happened about 3 weeks ago. She was saying, and I said, I volunteer here, and one of the ladies who comes to the class goes, "You do this free?" I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Why?" I said, "Because I enjoy it. I enjoy it because of you guys." And it's the different countries that are there. We have like a mini United Nations there. If everybody shows up, we have up to 12 different countries. It's fantastic. I learned so much more from them than they learned from me. So it's just a fun English conversation, but I'd never done that. So it challenged my brain. Like we said, learn a new language, dance, musical instrument, try complex arts and crafts, and of course, challenging board games, chess, bridge. So this is where we talk a little bit with you guys. How are you learning new things? And don't be shy. Raise your hand and just say, is anybody learning new things in the past week, or are you going to? So don't be shy. So this is where I look at you and say, "Ma'am, I'm going to pick on you. You just got a beautiful smile, and I know you want to say something." So anything new that you wanted, like, are you learning? Good. Keep at it. You know, business analyst, it sounds scary. I'm a business major and a business analyst, but perhaps you could find somebody else who's also interested and maybe do that together. There we go. Good deal. Is anybody learning a new musical instrument? Or, like I said, I have it on my list to learn the guitar. It's on my things to do, okay? Has anybody heard of the thing called a bucket list? Okay, a bucket list is what you want to do before you die. I don't call it a bucket list. I call it a wish list. A bucket list sounds too, sad. I call it my wish list. So my wish list has, I want to learn to play the guitar, I want to travel to these places, I want to do these things. My wife has her own list. And then we have a list that's shared. You can do this with your kids, you can do this with your husband, you can do this with your family. And when I tell my family this, they go, "Oh, no, I don't have a wish list." Why? It takes too much money. Actually, no. You can do simple things like, I'm going to go to the museum in Washington, D.C. I asked people how many people have been to the museum in Washington, D.C., and they've never been there. And it's free. It's free. You can learn so much there. I used to work in Maryland, and I used to ask the people that worked for me, "Have you ever been to Washington, D.C.? No. They were in Maryland. And I said, "Why?" I have to take the metro and then this. And I said, "No, you're bringing up problems that are just, it's right there." So a lot of times your wish list can be simple things. I had a grandmother in one of my classes, and she said, "I'm going to learn how to swim because they offer me swim classes free where I go for my age." I said, "Why do you want to learn how to swim?" because she said, I don't want to be afraid in the water with my grandkids. I want to have fun with my grandkids when they go, Grandma, come join us. I mean, she said she's not going to be an expert swimmer, but, so anything that can be done, it doesn't have to cost that much. Or if you say, I want to go to this country, maybe you can start saving money towards that goal. So pillar 2 is connect. Now you have Facebook. You have so much kind of social media, correct? I just got on Facebook about 2 years ago, because that's the only way my nieces and nephew and my family said I can stay socially engaged with them. They don't like to talk. When I call them on the phone, they don't like to talk. Young people don't like to talk that much. But if I can follow them on Facebook, great. So stay engaged with friends, family. And this is the biggest thing. And I'll talk of a personal experience. My parents did not avoid isolation. So what happened was my father retired, and he basically said, life's over. I said, no, it's not. But he was just, I'm going to sit in my rocking chair. You can only sit in the rocking chair for about a day, and you get bored. Believe me, I did that after I retired. I'm like, I'm done. I can relax. Well, after so much relaxation, you really get bored. So, of course, pets are very huge in America, billion-dollar industry on pets. But you don't have to have a dog and a cat. One of the ladies that came to my presentation, she has a hamster. That's her pet. Fish, whatever that makes you happy. And of course, as ARP, we always put that down, volunteer. There's so many things you can do. Stacy told me all the wonderful things they do here for the community. And you can help out with that, because I have found just volunteering, giving back, has really helped me mentally. Of course, these are some ideas. In Washington, D.C., my gosh, the sky's the limit on what you can do. Join a club, attend community events like you're doing here, adopt a pet. I even heard now, my aunt and uncle go to New York to pet sit. They have friends there that they take care of their dog for 2 weeks while they're away, and they get to live in New York for free. For free. In a really nice apartment. And they just have to pay their expenses to New York. But they take care of their friend's dog. And there's actually a thing like this on social services called pet sitting, where you can go in different places. But just be careful that it's somebody that's not cheating you. Volunteer with a local nonprofit. Again, there you see the common theme here, volunteer. And you can volunteer at any age. Doesn't matter. So any ideas on how do you stay socially engaged? Of course, Facebook. What other ways do you stay socially engaged? Anybody belong to any kind of club or anything like that? Or what do you guys do from the Islamic Center? Yes, ma'am. You belong to a book club. Fantastic. And do you guys get together to read? Wow. And is that at a local library, or do you? Private, so different homes? At different homes. Yeah, that's a great way to learn. Book club. And you find a common theme. Yes, ma'am. And so what kind of classes are these? Here. Oh, okay. So the classes that are offered here, they come and enjoy each other's company. That's the great thing about belonging to a group. Oh, English, that's what Stacy told me. English classes, she said there's 4 levels of ESL, and then also computer classes. Okay, well, that's great that you guys have that to stay socially engaged right here. And then the book club, I got to remember that one, because that's on my list too. So exercise, really important. All these are important. In America, the reason the health costs are so high, highest health costs in the world, people don't eat right, and they don't exercise. Once again, people don't eat right, and they don't exercise. So now this is September, end of September almost. We're getting to December. So people make those resolutions for the new year. The top 2 resolutions, again, I'm talking about Americans, save money and lose weight. And both are not met. 70% of the time, they fail. So my wife goes to an exercise class, because that's her social engagement. And it's full in January. It gets full. By the middle of February, it's back to normal. Because here's what people do. Oh my gosh, I'm going to lose weight. And they try to do it too fast. Exercise cannot be like that. First of all, you've got to enjoy it. It's got to be fun. You're like, oh God, I got to go exercise. No, make it part of your life. And so a lot of people just make that resolution and drop out. And then they order these pills in order to lose weight. That's the most terrible thing you can do to your body. Those pills are no good. Believe me, doctors will tell you the same thing. The best thing my wife and I did, and I'll talk about it a little bit later, my wife loves to go to group exercise classes. Okay? She loves it with other people. I don't like it. That's my person. When I exercise, I'm with my own thoughts. I want to be by myself. But that works for her, whatever works for me. So let me ask you a question. What's the easiest way to exercise? Walk. Walk. So many people in America join health clubs, and they're paying all this money, and they hardly go to the health club, and they waste all this money. But what I tell them is get a good pair of walking shoes and start walking. Don't have to be hard, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then keep it going. So you want to get at least 150 minutes of exercise each week. And you want to try to do it where your heart rate goes up a little bit. But if you've not done any exercise program, please get together with your doctor. But really, walking is the best way. Now, the thing that upsets me is we have a lake near my house that I go walking around. But these people are on their cell phone. How many people have you seen walking like this? I know, it really drives me crazy. I really want to take their phone and throw it in the lake. But of course, I'd be arrested for that. But I'm like, my God, look at the birds, the sky, the leaves. It's so beautiful. And they're on their cell phone. I'm like, what could be that important? That you're not even looking at your surrounding. But we see that everywhere now. At Metro, at the shopping. I'm just saying, focus on what you're doing. Put that down. You know, people are taking their cell phones into the bathrooms. So it is sort of crazy. But physical activity, that's all. This is all research. It helps with protecting brain chemicals, increases circulation so you can sleep better, reduces anxiety and improves sleep, reduces the risk of diabetes, heart disease, depression, and stroke. Let me talk about diabetes a second. Again, with my own family, my wife's family. Everybody in her family has diabetes, except for my wife. Reason is she exercises. They don't. That's as simple as I can make it, because it's in her family. Now, I still have to take medication myself. My father didn't leave me any money, but he left me all his health issues. That's what my dear father gave me. You know, no money, but okay, I'll have you remember me, my son, in some way. So I do have to take the medication, even though I exercise and eat right, but I have to, do that in order to keep the levels I need to. Oh, sorry, ma'am. Yes? Well, not necessarily by medication, by exercise. Okay, and the one thing is, I'm glad you brought that up, you do not want to exercise before you go to sleep. Okay? You might, like after supper, take a nice walk, but not hard, because the brain is now awake. So if you exercise and then go, okay, I'm going to go to sleep, you're not going to go to sleep. You want to exercise at least 4 or 5 hours before going to sleep. Okay? And we'll talk a little bit about sleeping. Let me talk a little bit about depression. Cultures, my own culture, we're not supposed to talk about it. Shh, shh. Why? Oh, no, no, no. I went through depression myself. I did go through depression, and I can talk about it now. I was ashamed about it at one point in my life, and I'm like, no, I should not be ashamed about it. It happened, and my friends couldn't help me, my wife couldn't help me, and I realized I need help. So I went to the doctor, group therapy, some medication, and it helped. And I told my entire family. And of course, some of my family members goes, oh, why are you saying this? I said, I'm not ashamed of it. If it helps somebody, let it help somebody. So, but unfortunately, in certain cultures, you're not supposed to talk about things like this. Even in America, especially for men, we're all supposed to be strong. So many of our military guys are coming back and killing themselves because they're having issues. But now they're saying, talk about it. Please don't let depression ruin your life. Michael Phelps, I don't know if you've heard of him, the swimmer. He went through depression. I mean, so many people who are famous and all that, you think, why, him? And even my family said, you're always so happy and all that. Doesn't matter. So anybody who goes through depression and all that, please have them seek help. You're right, ma'am. You're absolutely right. I started reading more about depression when I went through it, and it's so many what I call taboos around it. It's like, this is not supposed to be happening to women, or they're not a good mother, or no, this is not supposed to be happening to a man. That means he's not strong. No, it's like getting a cold. When you get a cold, you don't say, oh, you're a woman, that's why you got a cold. No, men and women both get colds, the flu. Depression is a sickness. It is. People go through it. So now, whenever I can help somebody, I'll say, yeah, go get help. Go get help. Don't let it ruin your life. So these are some of the walking is number one. Dancing, running, swimming. I had a leg injury, so I had to end up in the pool because the pool is the best way to get healed. And you don't even have to know how to swim. You can get on the shallow end and just run in place, or water aerobics if the water wants to go. And biking, if you have a back problem, you can get on what they call a recumbent bike, where you sit and you pedal this way instead of sitting up here. So all kinds of different things available. Tai Chi, that's on my list to do. Yoga, oh my gosh. Yoga started in India, but America has made it $1 billion industry. And a lot of the yoga out there is not true yoga. I can tell you that. But, so they went to India. The funny story is, hey, do you want to sue all of them? We can make a lot of money. And the person goes, no, no, no. It's okay. They can do what they want. Yoga is simple. It's about breathing. It's about meditating. And it's about stretching. That's it. It's very simple. But I know there's a place near my house, and I see all these ladies coming out with yoga wear. And they're like color coordinated and spend so much money on it. No, as long as you have comfortable clothing, you can do yoga. Yes, yoga mat. You have yoga here. Fantastic. That's great. But again, if that's what makes you happy to spend $140 on yoga wear, go for it. I just think it's a waste. But yoga, there's hot yoga, this yoga, that yoga. Just be careful, because people are ending up in the emergency room. Why? Where they've been told to stretch a certain way that their body cannot stretch. So you only are supposed to stretch as much as you can and then improve on that. But if the instructor up there says, okay, I want everybody in a certain position, no. Your body tells you, I cannot do that. Listen to your body. So that's what yoga is, a very simple thing. So what do you guys do for exercise? Share some things with me. Walking. And do you walk the same place every day, or do you try to change? Same route? Good for you. Yep, outside, yeah. For some people that work, in the winter, what you can do, you can go to the mall. They open up the mall early. So, yeah, you walk around the house. Okay, good for you. inside the building. Gardening is good too. Anything that you're moving, the body was meant for moving. Of course, it's nice to sit down and relax as well, but any kind of movement is good. Any other different kind of exercise? Yes, sir.
I walk to post office, the banks, every place I can walk.
With the bags?
No, I walk.
Oh, you walk any place you can go to. Good for you. You know what I see in a shopping mall? I just observe. I see these cars driving around looking for that spot closest to the mall. And I'm like, no, there's plenty of spaces there. Why don't you park there? Oh, that's too far. No, walk a little. I understand if it's bad weather. Okay. How many people do you see on escalators at the metro? Climb it. Instead of standing there, maybe just change up a little bit and climb the stairs, right? There's a thing at Dulles Airport now. There's an escalator, 4 escalators. I don't know why they did this. I go to Dulles and I laugh at it. So there's 5 escalators and 5 steps. And people get on the escalator and just stand there. I'm like, take the steps. Little things you can do. For example, if you're going from floor number 1 to floor number 3 in a building, don't take the elevator. Take the steps. So these are the little things you can do in life that'll improve your whole. You're getting more exercise by climbing up the steps than taking the elevator. Because I personally hate elevators. I know I sometimes have to take it. I feel like, I don't know, everything is closed around me and I can't get out of there. So as much as I can take the steps, I take the steps. So just some simple ideas that doesn't cost you anything. All right, so brain healthy diet, eat less meat and sweets. That's our first one. This is what my wife and I did. It's the best thing we did. We really thought we knew that we were eating pretty well. And we're like, yeah. But then we decided to make an appointment with a nutritionist. A nutritionist, not a doctor. Nutritionists know more about food than a doctor. Best thing we ever did. And we went to her, and of course my wife had prepared it as what we eat for lunch or breakfast and dinner in a typical 7 days. And my wife's name is Joanne, and of course the nutritionist's name is Joanne as well, so I cannot forget her name. I better not. So she looked at it, she goes, yeah, you guys are doing okay, but you can improve. And what we did was we were eating quite a bit of cereal with sugar in the morning. Whoosh, gone. We don't start off with sugar in our bodies anymore for breakfast. And most of the cereal that you buy at the grocery store, unfortunately, if you look in the side, sugar, sodium. Sugar and sodium, bad. Especially sodium because it retains the weight. So anything that you can do through the day where you look at the content of the sodium and sugar. So we eat, and we also, she introduced us to flaxseed. Flax, F-L-A-K-S-E-E-D. It lowers your cholesterol. Oatmeal is good. So, again, we buy 1% milk. These are just the little things we did. So it's funny. So we took our blood test, went back to her again, and she said, and she looked at me, she said, Suba, all your levels are where it's supposed to be. That's the first time in my life that I've had that. And then she looked at my wife and she said, but you need to do better. And I'm like, oh, sorry. It's the first time I beat my wife in anything. I was like trying not to show I was so happy. And I'm not like, oh, sorry, Joanne, yeah, you need to do better. She's like, yeah, right. But it's what you take and how your body consumes it, correct? But again, simple things like walking. You look at the content. Now we look at everything that we buy and look at the content. A lot of frozen vegetables, and that is okay as long as it doesn't have sodium and sugar. A lot of canned goods has sodium because they want to preserve it, and that's really what harms you. And again, I follow one word in life: moderation. Moderation. Do I enjoy myself? Of course we do. You know, if we have a good meal and it's not the most nutritious, it's okay. But do we do that every day? No, we can't. So we eat more seafood now. We eat more beans. Again, these are, leafy green vegetables. We love all vegetables. I know American kids hate vegetables. I don't know why. I have no idea why. I don't know if you have kids who don't like vegetables. I have always liked vegetables, every vegetable. We love vegetables. We eat broccoli every day. And my parents used to go, Amma, Papa, what are you doing? Oh, it's broccoli. It's very good for us. I'm like, not like that. Okay, there's a lot of other vegetables you're eating. You don't have to eat it like, poison. No, it's very good for us. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll leave you alone because I can't watching you eat that. And also olive oil, and one thing they have found, it's okay to cook in olive oil, but don't boil it. I don't know if you've heard that. Then it gets to be bad olive oil. I don't know why. I don't know you have to go to a scientist to get explanation. But all I was told was by the nutritionist, you can saute in it, but don't boil it. Don't boil olive oil. Coconut oil is good too. Again, with moderation. Okay, so kale. We just started eating kale, by the way. I don't know if you've heard of kale. It's available in your vegetables section. I didn't like it, but then our nutritionist gave us some recipes. A good nutritionist will also give you recipes, by the way. Berries, of course. I don't like, I have eaten sardines. I don't like it. I can't eat it. But I do eat almonds. So I call it my power snack in the afternoon. Apple. I still believe an apple a day keeps the doctor away. I cut an apple with just not a whole handful, but fingerful of almonds and some low-fat cheese and non-low-fat or wheat crackers. Okay, good question. You do not want to boil your vegetables too much because it will lose its nutrients. You want to have it as quickly as possible. You can saute it. My wife puts it in a thing and she just steams it. Steaming, correct. Steaming the vegetables will still keep it fresh, crunchy, and nutritious. But yes, and if you boil it too much, something like fried food. Fried food is, oh my gosh, in America people love fried food. And that can be really bad for you. All the fast food places you see here, I can go from here to 5 miles, and I will run across so many McDonald's, Burger King. I'll keep on talking, you can hear me. Those are the things you have to watch out for, is those. For example, you've gone to a salad bar, and people are, then at the end of the salad bar is all your bad stuff. Croutons, cheese, this, that, and people are like, oh, I'm eating healthy. No, you're not. That's actually been proven you're eating worse than if you had a Big Mac with large fries and a large Coke. Even though you're eating vegetables, but it's been drowned out by all that other stuff you put on it. So you just have to apply some common sense on this. Does anybody have any kind of meals they prepare? I'm sure all of your meals are good. One thing I would suggest is you guys share some things. I always tell groups to do that, especially you guys who are coming here. Share something that's nutritious that works for you, and maybe it'll work for you. So that's always good. And in America also, the bad statistic is kids are growing up with diabetes because they're eating badly. So they're eating bad food, and they don't get enough exercise because they're always playing those games. I was so happy that I did not have those things when I was growing up. Okay, so the last one, we talked about sleep, which is relax, okay? We all do need to relax. Sometimes people are working 16, 17 hours a day. Not good. I know sometimes they have to, but not good. They're really hurting their body. Studies have shown that if you exercise, and of course eating right is a little bit more expensive. getting fresh vegetables is more expensive than getting canned. It's okay to get frozen as long as it does not have salt and things like that. It's not like a Creo or something like that. But the thing is, they have found it's less expensive than ending up in the hospital. That's more expensive. So that's the way I look at it. So enough sleep means don't drink coffee before going to bed. Caffeine. You will not be able to go to sleep. It's not good for you. Oh gosh, normally you want to eat your last meal at least 4 hours prior to going to sleep. So if you have some caffeine, I would still suggest caffeine-free. I know people who always want coffee. And then reduce exposure. This is what I need to work on. I usually watch TV. I love sports, so I'm watching TV. But then what I try to do is I go upstairs, sort of like a less light, and I try to relax, then go to bed. Because you do not want to go to bed right after you do this. Your brain is stimulated. So if you're texting and Facebooking and all that, You want to, so I have a rule in my house, just for myself. I cut this off every day at 5:30. No more cell. That's a rule I do to myself, because I don't want it anymore. It's in my head. It's 5:30, cut it off. Another rule I made for myself when I retired, I do not have emails connected to my cell phone, because I used to do that all the time, check my emails, check my texts. And I do get a lot of emails now because I volunteer. I can only get texts here, but no emails. So if Stacy says, "Hey, Suba, I sent you an email," I'll say, "Okay, good, I'll check on it on my computer." Correct. Yes, ma'am. Emails only on the desktop. Yes. And so you do not want to do this. This is especially aware for your children. They do not want, that's why they're not getting enough sleep, because they're on this. Do you know they even invented a cell phone now that you can take into the shower? It's crazy. They want you to be connected 24/7. And like, no, it shouldn't be, because it's not good for your brain. They've actually done studies on that. And actually, people get addicted to it, like with the games, and now they have to go to a special camp just for that. Not for alcohol, but so you're not trying to be so connected, especially with all the stuff that's going on in the computer, with games and all that. But just tell your children and all that, hey, enough is enough. We have a rule in our house that if you have dinner, like if we invite our family, whatever, cannot bring this. You have to put it away, or you don't get dinner. It's my house, my rules. So you do not get dinner. Sorry, you don't get to eat. Anyway, take time out to reduce stress, exercise. And one thing they have found out, it's good to take a little afternoon siesta. Not sleep. Power nap. Yes, ma'am. Kind of like a cat nap. So sometimes if I have time, I'll just go and just close my eyes in a darkened room or not too much light, and 20 minutes. That's it. 20 minutes. Not an hour. Don't go to bed, though. Don't get to your bed. Just in a nice chair that you feel relaxed. Maybe put some music on, whatever works. 20 minutes. Europeans have been doing this, especially in Spain. I was in Spain, and boom. Right around 11:30, 12 o'clock, everything would shut off. I remember at work, I'd be on my computer, eating a sandwich, answering the phone, and going, my stomach hurts. Now I know why. And so exercise, meditate. You see this last one, laugh and smile. I tell my family that a lot, because they're serious people. Even in a picture. Like, no, this is a picnic. Smile. Like, okay, forget it. I'm not going to take this picture with you guys unless I'm making sure you're smiling and enjoying yourself. But that's just the way, the culture, it's a serious culture where I'm from. I don't know what happened to me. Maybe my mom dropped me on my head too many times. I don't know. But laughing and smiling. Laughing has actually shown that you get less wrinkles if you laugh more, because you're like opening up your mouth and all that. So it's always good to laugh and smile as much as you can, especially in this crazy world. If I didn't laugh and smile, I'd go nuts. So, there we go. My problem is avoiding TV. I do love sports, and there's always sports going on. But I try not to, put that away and then go to bed. Electronics we talked about. Again, when we're talking about eating well, don't eat your heaviest meal at the end of the day. I'm going to say that again. Don't eat your heaviest meal, meaning dinner. Try to at least have 4 or 5 meals. Of course, have breakfast. We did something unique. We got our dishes from my in-laws, and their plates were smaller than our plates. So we automatically eat less because it's smaller dinner plates. They had smaller dinner plates in their day. So they were moving to a new place. They didn't need it, and it's still beautiful, so they gave it to us. And so that's what we use the dinner plates for. And we noticed, wow, this is smaller than our dinner plates. So you don't want to have your heaviest meal at the end of the day. Because a lot of people, what they do, they'll eat their last meal, heavy meal, go to bed. And the body's going, okay, what do you want me to do now? Well, I'm not going to burn these calories. And you start getting fatter. So, what do you guys do better to reduce stress? Anybody have any techniques before they go to bed? Some people say warm milk. Breathing, very good one. Yes, breathing is very good before. That's what I try to do. I go into that room and just sort of kind of put my rest of the day. What kind of oil, ma'am? Oh, and is it the breathing of the lavender? Oh, no kidding. Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, because I know my family does a little bit of incense, so they use that. Anybody else as far as relaxing before they go to bed? What kind of relaxation do you do before you go to bed? Oh, good. Okay, reading. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Correct. And one thing about reading is you don't want to read a murder mystery novel. No. Something light. You don't want to read to the newspaper bad news. Anything that's good, light stuff is good. Okay? That's good. Breathing. So there we go. Whole slide. I do one simple breathing exercise that has worked for me, and I need to do more of it. So what I do is I just listen to myself breathe. That's all I concentrate on. So I just close my eyes. I'm in a comfortable, I call it a semi-yoga position. I just call it my own yoga position, the Subha yoga position, because it's relaxing for me. It's comfortable for me. I'm not in a lotus position or anything like that because I don't want to hurt myself. So I just, dark room, and then just really take it in and then out. Some people just, so it relaxes you. When I finish swimming in the pool, they say you want to do it for about a minute or maybe more. And again, you want to just kind of clear your mind. And sometimes that's tough to do. Yeah, and a lot of times, even when I'm walking, of course I'm breathing, but at times I'll just go, just sort of let everything out. And one thing about exercising, if you do go there to do any weights, that's one thing I forgot to say. Don't do anything heavy. You can get a band from Target, elastic band. And you just do this at home. You spend $15. That's it. And it actually helps you. Because you do need some strength, because as you get older, of course, the bones get a little bit brittle. But I see men in fitness centers going, they're screaming and they're trying to do too much. No. It's simple. Even if you have hand weights, like a 2-pound weight, you can buy that at Target or any place, 3 pound. And you just do this, just simple things, nothing that hurts you. Your body will tell you when you're not doing something wrong. When you're doing something wrong, sorry. So yeah, breathing is really important. Okay, I'm sure there's no smokers here. People have told me they have smoked and they've given it up, which is good. But these are the risks to brain health. So many people still smoke. It's expensive and people still do it. If you have a doctor that smokes, get a new doctor. I'm going to say that again. If your doctor is out of shape and heavy and smokes, because I had a doctor like that, I said, I'm not going to see him. What is he going to tell me? How's he going to tell me how to better his life when he almost looks like he's about to die? So you can ask your doctor these questions, and also your doctor should pay attention to you when he comes to talk to you or she comes to talk to you, not looking at the computer. They should pay attention to you. So depression, of course, and medication. Now, the person you should talk to your medication about is the pharmacist. Pharmacist knows more about medication than the doctors, even though doctors are learning. So I look at my medications every year and see what I need to stop or maybe increase. And what they have found out is you might be taking 2 medications that all you need is 1. But you're paying extra for the 2. That's what we did for our father-in-law. He was taking 3 extra medications that he did not need to take. So again, get with your pharmacist and they will help you. So I just want to show you. This is what, I don't ever remember what I take. I can't. So yeah, my wife actually helped me do this. So these are the things that I take. And I've got it in my billfold. So anybody says, what's your medications? I can tell them. But always do a yearly check with your pharmacist and say, hey, do I still need to take this? And he might say, well, we need to do some blood work or something. But make sure you're not taking extra stuff that you don't need to take, because all you're doing is wasting money. And it might be affecting you as well. Of course, Stacy talked about hearing. Yes, getting your hearing test, eyesight, and dental. All these dental, your teeth. Yeah. All of these should be done. Of course, dental is every 6 months, but hearing and of course, heart disease. And one thing I forgot, I'm sorry. When you're exercising, make sure you drink water. Hydrate. You don't have to take all those other fancy drinks that cost a lot of money. The flavored drinks and that drink. Water is great. I have never heard of a doctor say that. Now, you can drink too much water. That's also been shown. But during exercise, if you just, then your body, then your stomach. But yeah, you need to hydrate through the day. Water. I love water. In fact, I'm one of those people who used to drink Coca-Cola or iced tea during all dinners and lunch. And I'm like, nope, water. Once in a while, I might have an iced tea. Of course, tips for improving memory, pay attention. This is what my wife tells me to do. Pay attention. Avoid multitasking. Multitasking means trying to do too many things at one time. Research has found you end up not doing one thing good. I remember I used to interview people. Can you multitask? Wrong thing to ask, really. It's not good to do 3 things at one time. Yeah, because you end up doing both of them sort of badly. Yeah, and sometimes life is like you have to do a couple of things extra, but try to do one task at a time. Of course, I have a routine. I like my routine. I get up in the morning and I've accomplished one thing right away. I make my bed. I feel good. I made my bed. Then I go brush my teeth. Wow, I've already done 2 things. These are little things, but you can say, well done. Take breaks. Of course, however you want to use it, calendars, reminders, whatever that tells you where you need to be. There you go. These are just different things. These are just questions upon waking, dinner, evening hours. And then what can you do today? If you've never walked or whatever, take a 10-minute walk. Get another serving of vegetables. Make an appointment. Stacy already talked about health screenings. things like that. Those are wonderful to do. And I love it where I see Stacy's email, because I get her emails. And there's always a health screening going on here every Saturday. So good for Stacy for putting that on, and hope you guys take advantage of that. And of course, write down what you will do. I'm one of those people who write down notes. That's just old-fashioned. Pen, piece of paper, works for me. Yeah, I just my way of doing it. Get support of family, friends, of course. That's always good, and you guys are doing that here. These are all the resources. There's so many resources out there. There's some handouts up here in the table there. And we welcome your feedback, and that concludes my presentation today. Thank you so much for coming.